Good morning and welcome to the VSA Capital 5 Minute Morning Miner. It's Tuesday, the 17th of May. It's a quiet Tuesday, 17th of May. Not an awful lot of news out today, is there, Paul?
There is news, but not a lot of it earth-shattering. No.
No, but we'll rattle through pretty quickly. But obviously, it's a day where we've seen in the UK unemployment fall yet again. Unbelievably, wage inflation was actually down 1.2%, which I don't really believe, but maybe that's just because we're in a bubble in London. But the Bank of England, of course, saying that inflation is going to hit 10%. Inflation is a really big worry for the mining space. A lot of people haven't really factored it in yet that mining uses a huge amount of energy. The only thing is, of course, places like Australia, I had some Australians in the office yesterday, our mining companies in the UK, not that we have many, but they are basically paying double what an Australian mining company would pay. Because of basically in Australia, energy is so much cheaper for mining companies because it's all done off coal. So we need to think about mining. There is a massive amount of cost inflation. It really is huge. One or two mining companies clearly, if their underlying commodity hasn't gone up, will be hurting slightly for them. Anyway, there you go. There's a little bit of a rant just to start the day. Markets are tough, but they are up today. Paul, rattle through maybe some of the bits and pieces you've got today.
Yeah, the big piece of news, I guess, in the battery space is the announcement came out yesterday that Quebec battery graphite developer Nouveau Monde is buying into TSX-listed Mason Graphite in a deal to bring forward the development of Mason's Lac Rouette graphite deposit. Nouveau Monde has its own deposit that's in the midst of final permitting, and they also have a extraction and sizing facility for graphite, and Mason will be able to use that facility as well in this current deal. What it essentially offers is Nouveau Monde will have the right to take control of Mason Graphite, and as a result, it's actually moving to become the dominant player in battery-grade graphite material in North America, and specifically in the Northeast for the United States and Eastern Canada in this regard. So it is significant for the battery material space.
All right, Paul, I'll put you on the spot here. Do you have a favorite graphite play?
A favorite graphite play is Nouveau Monde, I think, in this circumstance here for this part of the world, yes.
What a perfect answer. All right, I'll tell you, there's a little bit of news on AIM quoted African explorer Galileo Resources, aren't there? They've got a copper project, I think, in the Zambian copper belt. Do you want to just mention that?
Yes, can do. They are essentially in that exploration program there. They've been fussing around with some various projects in the African or Central African countries for a little while now. And with this out here, I wasn't particularly surprised with the news here. They've this on the Lua and Sobe copper project in the Zambian copper belt. They have been testing historic drill core at Lua and Sobe, and they've discovered some new potential mineralization that probably hadn't been appropriately assessed before. So they'll continue this exploration program there in order to see if they can develop something of size there.
Very good. Anything else you want to mention?
Yes, the AIM quoted copper gold miner Anglo Asian came out with their full year results here today. Revenue was well down, or not that far down, about 10% or so, $92.5 million. But pre-tax profit was well off, down to $12.6 million from what was $35.7 million back in 2020. Cash for the period held pretty much steady at $37.5 million, and the total dividend paid out a total of $10.9 million for last year. All-in sustaining cost of production, we can see here that the price inflation that you talked about first off in the program here, $843 per ounce versus just $702. in the prior period, and that is due to both some lower production and some lower grade figures, but also the cost of materials to produce this copper and gold output.
There you go. I'll give you one quick one. I had yesterday in our offices the non-exec chairman of Lycos Metals. I don't know if you know Lycos. It's on the ASX. It was up 11% last night, actually. Do you know it, Paul?
I don't know it very well, thanks.
No, well, it's actually based in the EU. It's in Bosnia and Herzegovina, and it's looking for all sorts of things: nickel, copper, cobalt, and various other precious metals. It's not far away, actually. I think from Camel's lead zinc mine in Macedonia. Well, in that area, nothing's far away. So I mean, but anyway, it was talking a very bullish story there. It's not one I particularly know, but for what it's worth, they're obviously very upbeat, but that's what you'd expect, wouldn't you?
Yes.
And maybe you should look at it, Paul. Go and have a look. Maybe
okay,
talk about it again.
Will do.
Very good. We'll call it a day there because it is a pretty quiet day. It's going to be hot as well. 26 degrees today if you're living in London. So either make sure your air conditioning is working or take the afternoon off and go and have a kip in your garden. Speak tomorrow, Paul.
Very good. See you then.